up, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Moon616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, Day 7 is here on the 31 Days of Horror Volume 3. And yes, I just got this one in for review. I don't get a whole lot of movies in to review, so I thought maybe I'd just do this one today. Why not? It was one I was actually looking forward to checking out because, honestly, man, I'm a big werewolf fan, but they don't really make a whole whackload of great werewolf films anymore. In fact, in the history of horror, there's really just a small minor collection of really great werewolf films. So I was kind of hoping, this one would, fill that void for me. And of course, in 2017, we've got a film called Simply Lycan. Yes. So, I was looking forward to this, man. But getting into the quick little synopsis of this one, basically it follows our main character, Isabella. She's kind of a outcast type character, very odd. And she's in college, and she gets randomly assigned to this group with 5 other people to make up a group of 6 by her teacher to do their final, writing their final paper before graduation. So the group of 6 are kind of forced to work together, and they decide that they're going to investigate the werewolf of Talbot County. This 100-and-something-year-old legend about this werewolf that was killed on this property, or that was buried on this property. And the odd thing is that Isabella actually works on this farm right next to the property where this werewolf apparently is buried, so she kind of knows the area. And so the 6 of them set out to the woods. They go to investigate this legend, to write their paper, and then, of course, all hell breaks loose. So my thoughts on this one right here. Now, Lycan is actually a movie that's supposedly set in 1986. So right there, I was like, okay, I'm expecting this very kind of 80s look to it, You don't really get much of an 80s vibe in this film whatsoever. From the wardrobes are kind of 80s and stuff, but the overall look and wardrobes and sets and things like that don't scream 1980s whatsoever. Even some of the lingo that the characters use, not really that 1980s. Right away, the soundtrack was off-putting too. The soundtrack was not 80s at all. They used modern music, so right there, it kind of throws you for a loop a little bit. It's not like the worst thing in the world. If you're going to have a set in the 80s, you can use modern music, but the music sucked. That was the biggest problem to the film, man. I was just like, not the biggest problem, but the music and the look and stuff, it's supposed to be set in the 80s. Right there, I was like, okay. Now, it says on the back of this movie that this is a Hitchcockian tale of horror. Now, my first question was, while I was watching this film, where's the Hitchcockian tale of horror coming from? This movie is ultra and uber predictable. I mean, our main character, Isabel, is very awkward and stuff, and the prelude, the very first scene in the film kind of shows you something right away that there's something up with her. So it's not a big mystery to where this film is going. I guess the mystery is how it's going to get there. I'm not 100% sure where this mystery is supposed to be developing from, because something's up with her right away. And that was my biggest problem. Like, the setting was it's very cliched, and the characters were also super cliched in this film. Of course, you've got the rich blonde bitch who's actually kind of racist in this film because Isabella's black. You got a token black guy, you've got the nerdy guy, you've got the jock, you've got all the cliche characters in this, which wasn't really the biggest problem. I mean, the racist bitch, she was kind of pissing me off a little bit with her dialogue and stuff, but it was just that that development of characters doesn't give you anything more than what you're already expecting. Kind of frustrating a little bit. Of course, there's 6 of them, and something's up with Isabella. Getting to the kills in the film, really not that great. I was very disappointed. Now, in werewolf films, sometimes you really want to see some great kills. They can get real bloody and gory and stuff like that. Didn't really do it for me whatsoever. I will say the cinematography in the film was quite well done. It's a very low budget type film, and I mean, it's pretty much shot all in one location besides the school scenes out in the woods. And there's some pretty good cinematography. Some of the night shots are pretty well. Even the acting in the film was actually pretty good, I have to admit. Some of the performances were better than I was anticipating, given the narrative of the film. I mean, it's very simplistic and dubbed as a Hitchcockian horror tale. I don't know, man. I don't know where that's coming from, because it doesn't really play itself out like that. But yeah, very, very predictable. Come to the end scene. I don't know, the way it plays out, I guess, wasn't exactly in my mind, but I mean, like, the very last scene kind of thing, but it is what it is. It was very predictable. That's the biggest problem with this film. Didn't believe it as an 80s film. Music sucked. Narrative not the greatest. Very predictable. So it just wasn't for me whatsoever. I was really disappointed with this movie because, like I said, I wanted to see another good werewolf film. There's been a couple peppered into the last couple years that have been pretty good. There was a string a couple years ago with some really good ones, and I was hoping this one was going to do it. It sounded promising with Hitchcockian horror tale, but it just didn't deliver the mystery I was looking for at all. Very, very disappointed in this one. 4.5 out of 10. I will give it up because cinematography is really good. The acting was quite well done. There was some blood and some a couple decent scenes, but overall, very underwhelming and disappointing to say the least. So, Lycan, I can't necessarily fully recommend it, but if you are curious on the watch, it's not a piece of shit. Just put it that way. It's not a piece of shit. It's a decent watch. It's just not what I was looking for, given the fact when you use Hitchcockian horror tale, I don't know, man. You're setting yourself up for defeat if you're going to do that. But there is really no mystery to it, man. You're going to figure things out right at the beginning. Make biggest problems. So that is going to do it here for day 7. I apologize. I'm really stuffed up right now. So, but that's going to do it here for day 7. I'll check you guys tomorrow on day 8. Peace.